to heal an inner child in as much as we need to overcome an emotion. Like, I never tell a person to go back to their childhood and remember the events. The story is probably not even accurate.
Right.
Just overcome the emotion. Forget the story. Overcome the emotion, and you belong to the future instead of the past, right? So will that heal the inner child? Yes. Have I had profound moments where I saw things as a child and how I framed them? Absolutely. But that was a moment where I was enlightened that I didn't need to do that anymore, but it was inwardly that I did that. So healing the inner child is healing the same person. You're only the child when you feel the emotion. That's taking you back. In the moment. You're going back to being 7 and trying to figure out why things are happening the way they are. That's never going to be resolved, but if you don't have the emotion, the child is healed. The child is free, right? I mean, so we just work on the emotions. That's the key. And so when you overcome the emotion that's charged, that keeps you connected to the past, and you no longer have an emotion connected to the past, then that's wisdom. Then you know. I mean, then you're free.
Freedom. What's the opposite of love? Because you're mentioning the opposite of love is not fear, it's not anger.
There is no opposite. Love is wholeness. I mean, it's the union of polarity. It's the union of duality. It's opposites coming together. It's the center of the magnet. Yeah. There's no polarity in love. There is no opposite. We came from pure love. Mm-hmm. We came from unity, source, singularity, 0 point, universal mind, whatever you call it.
Yes.
We descended into density from oneness. To answer the question, is there more? There is more. And how do we say this? There's one God, but in that God there are many. So all of us have a spark of oneness, of the divine in us, and we've come down to such a degree of separation that we no longer are connected to anyone or anything, that you have the free will now. You are so autonomous that the spark of the divine is in you as oneness, that you get to create reality on your own. To answer the question, is there more? And you get thousands of opportunities to do it. And so imagine, if you've overcome your emotions, really every day, I guarantee you that you'll pay less attention to that. They only capture your attention with an emotion. They'll tell you, Lewis, as you age, your immune system's getting weaker and weaker and weaker. And then you see a picture of some guy in his 50s and he looks really good, and he looks better than you, and you're like, oh God, he looks really good. And John here, has had something that you could get if you had chicken pox. Uh-oh, I had chicken pox. 1 out of 3 people get this. I'm not such a lucky guy. And then they show you a picture of somebody with shingles and it looks like a 4th degree burnout. The whole entire, what are you gonna do? The effect of that image is gonna capture your attention because it shocked you. Now you're gonna lean in and pay more attention to it. Now they got you. And anything they say after that is gonna start the programming process. So you capture people's attention with their emotions. Remember that. And if you want to divide a community, choose fear or choose anger, and you'll polarize everybody.
Really?
Of course. And then you can decide what the solution is, because now people will be susceptible to information. They'll believe whatever it is equal to that emotion.
You captivate based on fear or anger. Can you captivate on love?
Yeah, of course, but that's not the program.
Right.
And that's the truth. Nobody wants to hear the truth. They want to hear something that's really going to rock them emotionally. And you're going to give a lot of your attention to that.
There's things that we all need to be reminded, that you need to be reminded every morning when you wake up. Hey, I need to be better.
Well, what is it? So what is mind? Mind is the brain in action. That's what it is, according to neuroscience. So then, it's important for us to remind ourselves, reproduce the same level of mind every day, fire and wire the circuits, install them, and then emotionally embrace the future so the body's conditioned more to the future instead of the past. That's reminding the brain and body, right?
And what happens if we don't remind ourselves of that future that we want to create every day?
Hey, listen, if you're not waking up being defined by a vision of the future, I can guarantee you'll be predictable, because you'll be in the memories of your past.
Ooh.
Period. It's the way it is. And I want people to believe in their future more than they believe in their past. I want them to be more in love with their future than they are with their past. I want them to romance a new future more than they romance their past. And it's so much easier to forget our vision than to remember it. And that's why we have to remind ourselves every day.
It's easier to forget it than to remember it.
Of course, in the beginning, there's no circuitry there.
So that's why it's a daily practice. Schedule it in. Make it the first thing you do, the last thing you do at night. Think about it.
Do you know how many people stop me and say, "You're not going to believe this. I actually took 2 weeks just to see if this worked. I can't tell you in 2 weeks all the crazy things that happened to me." Like they have to convince me. Like I'm not interested in convincing anybody any longer that this works. I'm just never. I want you to just learn how to do it, so that it's like you eat something really great at a dinner table. The first thing you want to do is share it with somebody. Like taste, that's how I am. Like, I'm going to stick it in your mouth, right? It's great. So you have that experience. You want other people to experience it. Why? Because imagine a community of people, the living organism of human beings caring for one another, loving one another, informing one another, honoring one another, respecting one another, healing one another, shining for one another, just so others can shine. I mean, that's who we are when we're not living in fear and anger and in survival. That's that we are innately wired to care for one another, to respect one another, to be a collective, a new consciousness, another way, and if you practice it, just feeling a little love every day, a little gratitude every day, I can prove to you, I have the research, your immune system is going to be so strong, it's going to be immune to any foreign agent.
With gratitude.
Just 10 minutes, 20 minutes of gratitude a day. What do you got? Not just to think about the things that you're grateful for, but to embrace them emotionally. Why? Because you want to practice feeling that. What's the emotional signature of gratitude? When you're receiving something favorable, you just received something favorable. Something amazing is happening to you, or something amazing just happened to you that surprised you. What do you say? You feel grateful, right? So the emotional signature of gratitude means something amazing just happened to you. Something just happened, or something is literally happening to you. Gratitude is the ultimate state of receivership. So if you finish your meditation in gratitude before the event occurs, your body, as the unconscious mind, is believing it's already happened to you.
Receiving,
and you're in the state of receiving. So, and what do you got to lose except your immune system? The worst thing that could happen to you is you'll heal. It's the worst thing that could happen to you. So if you don't practice it though, you practice watching the news and getting angry and frustrated, you're practicing that. And then the information that you're receiving is equal to your emotional state. And I'm just questioning information now more than ever. I wouldn't trust it anymore. I trust my heart over the information that I'm getting.